Frank Lampard has been sacked as Chelsea manager. What kind of impact does that have on Declan Rice? But before we get into it, guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button for more West Ham videos. Hit the like button. That would be greatly appreciated. Now, guys, Frank Lampard has been sacked as Chelsea manager. In the comment section down below, let me know if you believe it was deserved. My opinion, right? This is my opinion with a football fan hat on right now, not a West Ham, because there's two parts of this where I believe it is perfect for West Ham, but as a football fan, I'm a bit disappointed. And just briefly talking about Lampard sacking, because I know this ain't a Chelsea channel or we care about Lampard, but in terms of I fully believe that sacking managers and then getting a new manager in to get immediate success is fully long gone. We've got managers such as Jurgen Klopp, we've got managers such as Pep Guardiola who are in this league who have been at their respective clubs for four or five seasons. And I feel like, partly on Lampard, he overachieved in that first season, right? He had a lot of youngsters, had a transfer ban. They just got rid of Eden Hazard to Real Madrid, and they finished fourth with pretty much, quite a few youngsters in that team. And he probably overachieved when a lot of people was expecting him to finish 7th or 8th with that Chelsea side. And then obviously spending 200 million comes with a lot of pressure because they felt, well, if we give him 200 million and back him, what could he achieve with that 200 million if he's overachieved with a bunch of kids in the team? So for me, Tuchel as his replacement, he's going to be sacked within 2 seasons. The reason why I say that is whilst he was in PSG, yes, he won a couple of titles, but he got sacked this season for not being able to do it in Ligue 1, and that is why Pochettino has taken over. For me, I can see him being sacked within 2 seasons. Now, let's talk about Declan Rice, because that is the reason why you've clicked on this video. What kind of impact does this sacking have on Declan Rice's future at West Ham? And for me, it's a huge impact. And this is where I put my West Ham hat on. And I'm absolutely buzzing to say that Frank Lampard has been sacked. And there's been rumours, where Lampard has been the main driving force behind the Chelsea interest in Declan Rice. He's been the one that's been going to the board saying, I want Declan Rice, but the Chelsea board have not been willing to pay what West Ham want, between that region of 80 to 100 million pounds. Now, it has come out today, right? There was like a list from The Athletic that says pretty much what Lampard has done in order to warrant his sacking. And down the list was that the Chelsea board were annoyed with the continuous attempts from Frank Lampard to persuade the Chelsea board to buy Declan Rice. And the Chelsea board felt that if they spent the money on Declan Rice, not disputing that he's a good player, that it was actually going to be an embarrassment PR stunt, because similar to what Manchester United done with Paul Pogba, released a young player and then buying him back for 80, 90 million pounds. They didn't want to be sort of that in the eye, that PR stunt in terms of buying back a young prospect that they rejected and then buying him back for 70 to 80 million only a couple of years later. But in hindsight, now that looks like that Chelsea are out of the race, because I feel like Lampard was the only way behind that transfer happening. And I'd be very surprised if Tuchel comes in and sort of goes, you know what, I want Declan Rice from West Ham. He's going to try and bring his own style of play. He's going to probably bring in his own trusted men, more transfers for Chelsea, and expect sort of a conveyor belt again, where a load of players are going to be shipped out and a load of players are going to be brought in. And that's what happens when you sack managers just like that and not bide time. Now, in terms of Manchester United, it does look like that paves the way for Manchester United to probably be Declan Rice's only destination if he was to leave West Ham. And for me, whilst Manchester United, they need a Matic long-term replacement, right? Declan Rice has publicly said that if he was to leave West Ham, he wants to stay in London. So that only really paved the way for Chelsea. But this is a huge opportunity for West Ham now. We are sort of in the clear. We're in the clear in terms of keeping Declan Rice. It's now, how much do we want to prove to Declan Rice in terms of, we can do something and try and match his ambitions? Because this is a guy who is borderline world-class in his position, if not world-class already. It's not going to be the only time that big clubs are going to look at him. There were reports of Liverpool being looked at him, but I think that was just lazy journalism. I think it was literally down to Chelsea and Manchester United who were chasing his signature. We know Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, likes him. But now West Ham, give him a new contract. I spoke about in the David Moyes video, I wouldn't want to see any new contracts. But give David Moyes, give Declan Rice a new contract and make him eventually the club captain. you know, Mark Noble is petering out at the end of his career at West Ham. It's inevitable that Declan Rice will overtake him as the club captain when Mark Noble decides to call it a day. And I feel like now we're in a perfect position. We've been linked with a couple of signings today, a youngster coming from Red Bull Leipzig and a striker, Huang Hee Chang, from Red Bull Salzburg / Red Bull Leipzig. And for me now, it's a perfect opportunity to go give him a new contract, give him the amount of money he deserves. If there's any player at West Ham that deserves 100k a week or 120k a week, make sure it's Declan Rice, because he's been here for 3 years. 3 or so seasons. He's been our most consistent player throughout that time. He's a regular England international. He's more than likely going to be a regular England international in the coming Euros. And we need to reflect his ability and his potential ability with a new contract, build the team around him and try and match his ambitions. We might not be able to fulfill his ambitions, but West Ham need to have a proper good go at trying to fulfill those ambitions, because it does look like it's only Manchester United that are going to be looking at, you know, Declan Rice. I presume if Chelsea board were annoyed that Lampard was trying to convince them to try and sign Declan Rice, and he was the final piece of the puzzle, I'll be very surprised if they don't say a similar thing to Tuchel if he actually was interested in Declan Rice. But guys, that is going to be the end of the video. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you next time. See you later.